Ellie, dear, do come out. It's so lovely.
Just a minute. Not so bad.
It's heavenly. Look at the lights of that yacht reflected in the water. Oh, dear, I'm so happy.
Are you?
Aren't you?
Oh, of course I am. Tremendously happy.
Just to think, here we are, you and I, married.
Yes, things have come to a pretty pass.
Don't laugh at me. You mustn't be blasé about honeymoons just because this is your second.
That's silly.
Have I annoyed you by saying that?
Just a little.
Oh, darling, I'm so sorry. Kiss me. Not so very enthusiastic.
And then?
3 times, please. I'm superstitious.
You really are very sweet.
Are you glad you married me?
Of course I am.
How glad?
Incredibly, magnificently glad.
How lovely.
We ought to go in and dress.
Gladder than before?
Why will you keep harping on that?
It's in my mind. Yours too, I expect.
It isn't anything of the sort.
She was pretty, wasn't she? Amanda.
Very pretty.
Prettier than I am.
Much.
Elliot.
She was pretty and sleek, and her hands were long and slim, and her legs were long and slim, and she danced like an angel. You dance very poorly, by the way.
Could she play the piano as well as I can?
She couldn't play the piano at all.
Ah. Had she my talent for organisation?
No, but she hadn't your mother either.
I don't believe you like Mother.
Like her, I can't bear her.
Elliot, she's a darling underneath.
Well, I never got underneath.
It makes me unhappy to think that you don't like Mother.
Nonsense. I believe the only reason you married me was to get away from her.
I married you because I loved you.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I love you far more than Amanda loved you. I would never make you miserable like she did.
We made each other miserable.
It was all her fault. You know it was.
Yes, it was. Entirely her fault.
She was a fool to lose you.
We lost each other.
She lost you, with her violent tempers and carryings on.
Will you stop talking about Amanda?
But I'm very glad. Because if she hadn't been uncontrolled and wicked and unfaithful, we shouldn't be here now.
She wasn't unfaithful.
How do you know? I bet she was. I bet she was unfaithful every 5 minutes.
It would take a far more concentrated woman than Amanda to be unfaithful every 5 minutes.
You do hate her, don't you?
No, I don't hate her. I think I despise her.
Well, that's much worse.
And yet I'm sorry for her.
Why?
Because she's marked for tragedy. She's bound to make a mess of everything.
If it's all her fault, I don't see that it matters much.
She had some very good qualities.
Considering what a hell she made of your life, I think you're very nice about her. Most men would be vindictive.
Well, what's the use of that? It's all over now. Such a long time ago.
5 years isn't very long.
Yes, it is.
Do you think that you could ever love her again?
Now then, Sybil.
But could you?
Of course not. I love you.
Yes, but you love me differently. I know that.
More wisely, perhaps.
I'm glad. I'd rather have that sort of love.
You're right. Love is no use unless it's wise and kind and undramatic. Something steady and sweet to smooth out your nerves when you're tired. Something tremendously cozy and unflurried by scenes and jealousies. That's what I want. What I've always wanted, really. Oh, my dear, I do hope it's not going to be dull for you.
Sweetheart, as though you could ever be dull.
I'm much older than you.
Not so very much.
7 years.
Listen, you can hear the sea.
We'll bathe tomorrow morning.
Oh, I mustn't get sunburnt.
Why not?
I hate it on women.
Oh, very well, you shan't then. I hope you don't hate it on men.
No, of course I don't. It's suitable to men.
You're a completely feminine little creature, aren't you?
Why do you say that?
Everything in its place.
What do you mean?
If you feel you'd like me to smoke a pipe, I'll try and master it.
I like a man to be a man, if that's what you mean.
You're going to understand me and manage me.
I'm going to try to understand you.
Run me without my knowing it.
I think you're being a little unkind.
No, I don't mean to be. I was only wondering.
Well,
I was wondering what was going on inside your mind, what your plans are, really.
Plans? Oh, really?
Apart from loving me and all that, you must have plans.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Oh, perhaps it's subconscious, then. Age-old instincts working away deep down, mincing up little bits of experience for future use, watching me carefully like a little sharp-eyed blonde kitten.
How can you be so horrid?
Well, I said kitten, not cat.
Kittens grow into cats.
Well, let that be a warning to you.
What's the matter, darling? Are you hungry?
Oh, not a bit.
You're very strange all of a sudden. And rather cruel. Just because I'm feminine, it doesn't mean that I'm crafty and calculating.
I didn't say you were either of those things.
I hate these half-masculine women who go banging about.
I hate anybody who goes banging about.
I should think you needed a little quiet womanliness after Amanda.
Will you stop talking about her?
It's natural enough, isn't it?
What do you want to find out?
Why did you really let her divorce you?
She divorced me for cruelty and flagrant infidelity. I spent a whole weekend at Brighton with a lady called Vera Williams. She had the nastiest-looking hairbrush I have ever seen.
Misplaced chivalry, I call it. Why didn't you divorce her?
It would not have been the action of a gentleman, whatever that may mean.
I think she got off very lightly.
Once and for all, will you stop talking about her?
Yes, Ellie, dear.
I never want to see her again or hear her name mentioned.
Very well, darling.
Is that understood?
Yes, darling. Where did you spend your honeymoon?
Sam Moritz, be quiet.
I hate Sam Moritz.
So do I, bitterly.
Was she good on skis?
Do you want to dine downstairs here or at the casino?
I love you, I love you, I love you.
Good, let's go in and dress.
Kiss me first.
Casino?
Yes. Are you a gambler? You never told me.
Every now and then.
I shall come and sit just behind your chair and bring you luck.
That will be fatal.
Mandy?
What?
Come outside. The view's wonderful.
Still down from the bath. Wait a minute. I shall catch pneumonia. That's what I shall catch.
God,
Beg your pardon.
you look wonderful.
Thank you, darling.
Like some beautiful advertisement for something.
Nothing peculiar, I hope.
I can hardly believe that it's true. You and I here alone together, married.
That stuff's a bit rough.
Don't you like it?
Rather hearty, isn't it?
Do you love me?
Of course, that's why I'm here.
More than you loved...
Now then, none of that.
No, but do you love me more than you loved Elliot?
I don't remember. Such a long time ago.
Not so very long.
All my life ago.
I'd like to break his damned neck.
Why?
For making you unhappy.
Oh, it was mutual.
Rubbish, it was all his fault. You know it was.
Yes, it was, now I come to think about it.
I'll never treat you like that.
That's right.
I love you too much.
So did he.
A fine sort of love that was. He struck you once, didn't he?
Oh, more than once.
Where?
Several places.
What a cad!
I struck him, too. Once I broke 4 gramophone records over his head. It was very satisfying.
You must have been driven to distraction.
Yes, I was, but don't let's talk about it, please. After all, it's a dreary subject for our honeymoon night.
He didn't know when he was well off.
Look at the lights of that yacht reflected in the water. I wonder whose it is.
We must bathe tomorrow.
Yes, I want to get a nice sunburn.
Mandy,
Why, what's the matter?
I hate sunburnt women.
Why?
It's so somehow, well, unsuitable.
It's awfully suitable to me, darling.
Of course, if you really want to.
I'm absolutely determined. I've got masses of lovely oil to rub all over myself.
But your skin's so beautiful as it is.
So wait and see. When I've done a nice crisp brown, you'll fall in love with me all over again.
I couldn't love you more than I do now.
Oh, dear. I did so hope our honeymoon was going to be progressive.
Where did you spend the last one?
Victor.
No, I want to know.
Sam Moritz. He was very attractive.
I hate Sam Moritz.
So do I.
Did he start quarreling with you right away?
Within the first few days, I put it down to the high altitudes.
And you loved him?
Yes, Victor.
You poor child.
You must try not to be pompous, dear.
Mandy.
I don't believe I'm a bit what you think I am.
How do you mean?
I was never a poor child.
Figure of speech, dear, that's all.
I suffered a good deal and had my heart broken. It wasn't an innocent, girlish heart. It was jagged with sophistication. I've always been sophisticated, far too knowing. That caused many of my rows with Elliot. I irritated him because he knew I could see through him.
I don't mind how much you see through me.
Sweet.
I'm going to make you happy.
Are you?
Just by looking after you and seeing that you're all right. You know.
No, I don't know.
I believe that you love me quite differently from the way that you loved Elliot.
Oh, do stop harping on Elliot.
But it's true, though, isn't it?
I love you much more calmly, if that's what you mean.
More lastingly?
I expect so.
Do you remember when I first met you?
Yes, distinctly.
At Marion Vale's party?
Yes.
Wasn't it wonderful?
Not really, dear. It was only redeemed from the completely commonplace by the fact of my having hiccups.
I never noticed them.
Love at first sight.
Where did you first meet Elliot?
Oh, to hell with Elliot!
No, but
I forbid you to mention his name again. I'm sick of the sound of it. You must be raving mad. Here we are on the first night of our honeymoon with the music playing and the moon coming up, and all you can do is talk about my first husband. It's downright sacrilegious.
Well, don't be angry.
It's very annoying.
Will you forgive me?
Yes. Only don't do it again.
I promise.
I really must go and change. You haven't had your bath yet.
Where shall we dine? Downstairs here or at the casino?
Oh, the casino is more fun, I think.
We can play boule afterwards.
No, we can't, dear.
Don't you like dear old boule?
No, I hate dear old boule. We'll play a nice game of chemin de fer.
Not at the big table.
Maybe at the biggest table.
You're not a terrible gambler, are you?
Inveterate. Chance rules my life.
What nonsense.
How can you say it's nonsense? It was chance meeting you. It's chancing falling in love. It's chance that we're here. Everything that happens is chance.
You know, I feel rather scared of you at close quarters.
That promises to be very embarrassing.
You seem somehow different now. Wilder than you were, more strained.
Wilder? Victor, I've never felt less wild in my life. A little strained, I grant you, but that's the newly married atmosphere. You can't expect anything else. Honeymooning is a very overrated amusement.
Well, you only say that because you had such a ghastly experience before.
There you go again.
Well, it couldn't fail to embitter you a little.
The honeymoon wasn't such a ghastly experience, really. It was afterwards that was so awful.
I intend to make you forget it entirely.
You won't succeed by making constant references to it.
I wish I knew you better.
I think it's just as well you don't. The woman, in italics, should always retain a certain amount of alluring feminine mystery for the man. Also in italics.
And what about the man? Doesn't he have any mystery?
Absolutely none. Transparent as glass.
Oh, I see.
Never mind, darling. It doesn't necessarily work out like that. It's only supposed to.
Well, I'm glad I'm normal.
Oh, thing to be glad about. Why?
Well, aren't you?
I'm not so sure I'm normal.
Of course you are, Mandy. Sweetly, divinely normal.
I don't have any peculiar cravings for Chinamen or old boots, if that's what you mean.
Mandy.
I think very few people are completely normal, really, deep down in their private lives. It all depends on a combination of circumstances. If all the various cosmic thingamies fuse at the same moment and the right spark is struck, there's no knowing what one mightn't do. That was the trouble with Elliot and me. We were like two violent acids bubbling about in a nasty little matrimonial bottle.
I don't believe that you're nearly as complex as you think you are.
Oh, I don't think I'm particularly complex, but I know I'm unreliable.
You're frightening me horribly. In what way unreliable?
So apt to see things the wrong way around.
What sort of things?
Morals. What one should do and what one shouldn't.
Darling, you are sweet.
Oh, thank you, Victor. That's most encouraging. You really must have your bath now. Come along.
Kiss me.
There, dear. Well, enough. I've only got to slip my dress on, and I shall be ready.
Give me 10 minutes.
I'll bring the cocktails out here when they come.
All right.
Come on now. Hurry.
Sybil,
Yes?
I brought the cocktails out here. Hurry up.
I can't find my lipstick.
Never mind, send down to the kitchen for some cochineal.
Don't be so silly.
Hurry up! I'll smile a little smile for a little while. We shall stand hand in hand.
Try to make it true. Say. Thoughtful of them to play that, wasn't it?
What are you doing here?
I'm on honeymoon.
How interesting, so am I.
I hope you're enjoying it.
It hasn't started yet.
Neither is mine.
Oh, my God.
Can't help feeling that this is a little unfortunate.
You happy?
Perfectly.
Good, that's all right then, isn't it?
Are you?
Ecstatically.
I'm delighted to hear it. We shall probably meet again sometime. Au revoir.
Goodbye.
Cocktail, please. Ellie, what's the matter?
I feel very odd.
Odd? What do you mean, ill?
Yes, ill.
What sort of ill?
We must leave at once.
Leave?
Yes, dear, leave instantly.
Ellie,
I've got a strange foreboding.
you must be mad.
Listen, darling, I want you to be very sweet and patient and understanding and not ask any questions or be upset or anything. I've got an absolute conviction that our whole future happiness depends upon our leaving here instantly.
Why?
I can't tell you why.
Oh, you've only just come.
I know that, but it can't be helped.
What's happened? What has happened?
Nothing has happened.
You've gone out of your mind.
I have not gone out of my mind, but I shall if we stay here another moment.
You're not drunk, are you?
Of course I'm not drunk. What time have I had to get drunk?
Now come downstairs, darling, and have some dinner, and then you'll feel ever so much better.
It's no use trying to humour me. I'm serious.
But, darling, please be reasonable. We've only just arrived. Everything is unpacked. It's our first night together. We can't go away now.
We can have our first night together in
We
Paris.
shouldn't get there until the small hours.
Now, please, Sybil, I know this sounds crazy to you and utterly lacking in reason and sense, but I've got second sight over certain things. I'm almost psychic. I've got the most extraordinary sensation of impending disaster. If we stay here, something appalling will happen, I know it.
Hysterical nonsense.
It isn't hysterical nonsense. Presentiments are far from being nonsense. Look at the one who cancelled her passage on the Titanic all because of a presentiment.
I don't see what that has to do with it.
It has everything to do with it. She obeyed her instincts, that's what she did, and saved her life. All I ask is to be allowed to obey my instincts.
Do you mean there's going to be an earthquake or something?
Very possibly indeed, or perhaps a violent explosion.
But they don't have earthquakes in France.
On the contrary, only last week they felt a distinct shock at Toulon.
Yes, but that's in the south, where it's hot.
Don't quibble, Sybil.
But as for explosions, there's nothing here that can explode.
Oh, isn't there?
Yes, but Ellie,
Please, darling, bear with me. I beseech you to bear with me.
I don't understand. It's horrid of you to do this.
I'm not doing anything. I'm only asking you, imploring you to come away from this place.
But I love it here.
There are thousands of other places far nicer.
It's a pity we didn't go to one of them.
Now, listen, Sybil.
Yes, but why are you behaving like this? Why?
Don't ask why, just give in to me. I swear I'll never ask you to give in to me over anything again.
I won't think of leaving tonight. It's utterly ridiculous. I've done quite enough travelling for one day, and I'm tired.
You're as obstinate as a mule.
I like that, I must say.
You've got your nasty little feet dug into the ground. You don't intend to budge an inch, do you?
No, I do not.
If there's one thing in the world that infuriates me, it's sheer wanton stubbornness. I should like to cut off your head with a meat axe.
How dare you speak to me like that? On our honeymoon night.
Damn our honeymoon night. Damn it.
Ellen!
Stop crying. Will you or will you not come away with me to Paris?
I've never been so miserable in my life. You're hateful and beastly. Mother was perfectly right. She said you had shifty eyes.
Well, she can't talk. Hers are so close together you couldn't put a needle between them.
You don't love me a little bit. I wish I were dead.
Will you or will you not come to Paris?
No, I won't.
Oh, my God.
No, Eddie.
You were certainly right when you said you weren't normal. You're behaving like a lunatic.
Not at all. All I've done is to ask you a little favour.
Little favour, indeed.
If we left now, we could be in Paris in a few hours.
If we cross Siberia by train, we could be in China in a fortnight, but I don't see any reason to do it.
Please, Victor, please, be sensible just for my sake.
Sensible?
Yes, sensible. I should be absolutely miserable if we stay here. You don't want me to be absolutely miserable all through my honeymoon, do you?
Well, why didn't you remember your sister's tragedy before?
I forgot.
You couldn't forget a thing like that.
I got the places muddled. Then, when I saw the casino in the moonlight, it all came back to me.
When did all this happen?
Years ago. But it might just as well have been yesterday. I can see her now, lying dead, with that dreadful expression on her face. And then all the awful business of taking the body home to England. It was perfectly horrible.
I never knew that you had a sister.
I haven't anymore.
There's something behind all this.
Oh, don't be silly. What could they be behind it?
Well, for one thing, you're lying.
Victor!
Be honest, aren't you?
I can't think how you can be so mean and suspicious.
You're lying, Amanda, aren't you?
Yes, Victor.
You never had a sister, dead or alive.
I believe there was a stillborn one in 1912.
What is your reason for all this?
I told you I was unreliable.
But why do you want to leave so badly?
Be angry if I tell you the truth.
What is it?
I warn you.
Tell me, please tell me.
Elliot's here.
What?
I saw him.
When?
Just now when you were in the bath.
Where was he?
Down there in a white suit.
White suit?
Well, why not? It's summer, isn't it?
You're lying again.
I'm not. He's here. I swear he is.
Well, what of it?
I can't enjoy a honeymoon with you, with Elliot liable to bounce in at any moment.
Really, Mandy?
Can't you see how awful it is? It's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me in my whole life.
Did he see you?
No, he was running.
What was he running for?
Oh, how on earth do I know? Don't be so annoying.
Well, if he didn't see you, it's all right then, isn't
No,
it?
it isn't all right. We must leave immediately.
But why?
How can you be so appallingly obstinate?
I'm not afraid of him.
Neither am I. It isn't a question of being afraid. It is just a horrible, awkward situation.
I'm damned if I can see why our whole honeymoon should be upset by Elliot.
My last one was.
I don't believe that he's here at all.
He is, I tell you. I saw him.
It was probably an optical illusion. This half-light's very deceptive.
It was no such thing.
I absolutely refuse to change all our plans at the last moment because you think you've seen Elliot. It's ridiculous and unreasonable of you to demand it. Even if he is here, I can't see that it matters. He'll probably feel much more embarrassed than you, and a damn good job, too. And if he annoys you in any way, I'll knock him down.
That would be charming.
Now, don't let's talk about it anymore.
Do you mean to stand there seriously and imagine this whole thing can be glossed over as easily as that?
I'm not going to leave, Mandy. If I start giving in to you as early as this, our lives together will be unbearable.
Victor!
You've worked yourself up into a situation that only exists in your mind.
Please, Victor, please, I implore you for this last time. Please, let's go to Paris tonight, now. I mean it with all my heart, please.
No, Mandy.
I see quite clearly that I have been foolish enough to marry a fat old gentleman in a club armchair.
It's no use being cross.
You're a pompous ass.
Mandy!
Pompous ass! That's what I said and that's what I meant. Blown out with your own importance.
Mandy, control yourself.
Get away from me. I can't bear to think that I'm married to such rugged grandeur.
I shall be in the bar. When you're ready to come down and dine, let me know.
Go away. Go away. Go away!
If you don't stop screaming, I'll murder you.
I wish to heaven I'd never seen you in my life, let alone married you. I don't wonder Amanda left you. If you behaved to her as you've behaved to me, I'm going downstairs to have dinner by myself. And you can just do what you like about it.
Do it, I hope it chokes you.
Ellie.
Give me one, for God's sake.
Here.
I'm in such a rage.
So am I.
What are we to do?
I don't know.
Whose yacht is that?
The Duke of Westminster's, I expect. It always is.
I wish I were on it.
I wish you were, too.
There's no need to be nasty.
Yes, there is. Every need. I've never in my life felt a greater urge to be nasty.
And you've had some urges in your time, haven't you?
If you start bickering with me, Amanda, I swear I'll throw you over the edge.
Try it, that's all. Just try it.
You've upset everything, as usual.
I've upset everything. What about you?
Ever since the first moment I was unlucky enough to set eyes on you, my life has been insupportable.
Do shut up. There's no sense in going on like that.
Nothing's any use. There's no escape ever.
Don't be melodramatic.
You want a cocktail? There are two here.
There are two over here as well.
We'll have my two first.
Shall we get roaring, screaming drunk?
Well, I don't think that would help. We did it once before, and it was a dismal failure.
It was lovely at the beginning.
You have an immoral memory, Amanda. Here's to you.
tried to get away the moment after I'd seen you, but he wouldn't budge.
What's his name?
Victor. Victor Prynne.
Mr. and Mrs. Victor Prynne. Mine wouldn't budge either.
What's her name?
Sybil.
Mr. and Mrs. Elliot Chase. God pity the poor girl.
You in love with him?
Of course.
How funny.
I don't see anything particularly funny about it. You're in love with yours, aren't you?
Certainly.
There you are, then.
There we both are, then.
What's she like?
Fair. Very pretty. Plays the piano beautifully.
Very comforting.
How's yours?
I don't want to discuss him.
That doesn't matter. He'll probably come popping out in a moment. I shall see for myself. Does he know I'm here?
Yes, I told him.
Well, that's going to make things a whole lot easier.
Oh, you needn't be frightened. He won't hurt you.
If he comes near me, I'll scream the place down.
Does Sybil know I'm here?
No. I pretended I'd had a presentiment. I tried terribly hard to persuade her to leave for Paris.
I tried, too. It's lucky we didn't both succeed, isn't it? Otherwise, we should have all have probably joined up on the road somewhere.
In some frowsy little hotel.
Oh, dear. It would have been much, much worse.
I can see us all sailing down in the morning for an early start.
What's happened to yours?
Didn't you hear her screaming? She's downstairs in the dining room, I think.
Mine is being grand in the bar.
Really is awfully difficult.
Have you known her long?
About 4 months. Met at a house party in Norfolk.
Very flat, Norfolk.
There's no need to be unpleasant.
There was no reflection on her, unless she made it flatter.
Your voice takes on an acid quality whenever you mention her name.
I shall never mention her again.
Good. I'll keep off Victor.
Thank you.
That orchestra has a remarkably small repertoire.
They don't seem to know anything but this, do they?
No. I'll leave you never, love you for. I'm awfully sorry about this, really I am. I wouldn't have had it happen for the world.
I know, I'm sorry too. It's just rotten luck.
I'll go away tomorrow, whatever happens, so don't you worry.
That's nice of you.
I hope everything turns out splendidly for you and that you'll be very happy.
Thank you very much. I hope the same for you too.
Nasty, insistent little tune.
Extraordinary how potent cheap music is.
What exactly were you remembering at that moment?
The Palace Hotel skating rink in the morning. Everybody whirling about in vivid colours and you kneeling down to put my skates on for me.
You'd fallen on your fanny a minute before.
It was beastly of you to laugh like that. I felt so humiliated.
Poor darling.
Remember waking up in the morning and standing on the balcony, looking out across the valley?
Blue shadows on white snow. Cleanness beyond belief. High above everything in the world. How beautiful it was.
It's nice to think we had a few marvellous moments.
A few. We had heaps, really. And they slip away into the background and one only remembers the bad ones.
Yes. What fools we were to ruin it all. What utter, utter fools.
You feel like that too, do you?
Of course.
Why did we?
The whole business was too much for us.
We were so ridiculously over in love.
Funny, wasn't it?
Horribly funny.
Selfishness, cruelty, hatred, possessiveness, petty jealousy. All those qualities came out in us just because we loved each other.
Perhaps they were there anyhow.
No. It's love that does it. To hell with love.
To hell with love.
And yet here we are starting afresh with two quite different people. In love all over again, aren't we? Aren't we?
No.
Elliot.
We're not in love all over again, and you know it. Good night, Amanda.
Oh, don't be silly, Elliot. Come back.
I must go and find Sybil.
I must go and find Victor.
But why don't you?
I don't want to.
It's shameful, shameful.
Don't. I feel terrible. Don't leave me for a minute. I shall go mad if you do. We won't talk about ourselves anymore. We'll talk about outside things, anything you like, only please don't leave me until I pull myself together.
Very well.
you been doing lately, during these last years?
Travelling about. I went round the world, you know, after...
Yes, I know. How was it?
The world?
Yes.
Oh, highly enjoyable.
China must be very interesting.
Very big, China.
Japan?
Very small.
Did you eat shark's fins and take your shoes off and use chopsticks and everything?
Practically everything.
And India, the burning Ghats or Ghats or whatever they are. And the Taj Mahal, how was the Taj Mahal?
Unbelievable. A sort of dream.
It was the moonlight, I expect. You must have seen it in the moonlight.
Yes. Moonlight is cruelly deceptive.
And it didn't look like a biscuit box, did it? I always felt that it might.
Darling. Darling, I love you so.
And I do hope you met a sacred elephant. They're lint white, I believe, and very, very sweet.
I've never loved anyone else for an instant.
No, Elliot, stop. You mustn't.
You love me too, don't you? There's no doubt about it anywhere, is there?
No. No doubt anywhere.
You're looking very lovely, you know, in this damp moonlight. Your skin is clear and cool, and your eyes are shining. You're growing lovelier and lovelier every second as I look at you. You don't hold any mystery for me, darling, do you mind? There isn't a particle of you that I don't know, remember, and want.
I'm glad, my sweet.
More than any desire anywhere, deep down in my deepest heart, I want you back again. Please.
Don't say any more. You're making me cry so dreadfully. Oh, darling, what now?
I don't know. I'm lost utterly.
You must think quickly, quickly.
Escape?
Together.
Yes, of course.
We can't. You know we can't.
We must.
It would break Victor's heart.
And Sybil's too, probably. That can't be helped. And think of the hell we'd lead them into if we stayed here, pretending to love them and loving each other so desperately.
We must tell them.
What?
Call them and tell them.
We can't. You know we can't. It's impossible.
It's honest.
Well, I don't care how honest it is. It's too horrible to think of. How shall we start? What shall we say?
We should have to trust to the inspiration of the moment.
We've got to decide, instantly, one way or another, go away together now, or stay with them and never see one another again, ever.
Don't be silly. What choice is there?
No choice at all. Come.
No, wait. This is terrible. Something strange has happened to us. We're not sane.
We never were.
Well, where can we go?
Paris first. My car's in the garage already.
They'll follow us.
Doesn't matter once the thing's done.
I've got a flat in Paris.
Good.
It's in the Avenue Montaigne. I let it to Frida Lawson, but she will be a Ritz, so it's empty.
But does Victor know?
No, he knows I have one, but he hasn't the faintest idea where.
Better and better.
Oh, being so bad, so terribly bad. We'll suffer for this. I knew we shall.
Can't be helped.
Starting all those awful rows all over again.
No, we're older and wiser now.
Well, what difference does that make? The moment either of us gets a bit nervy, off we'll go again.
Stop shilly-shallying, Amanda.
I'm trying to be sensible.
You're only succeeding in being completely idiotic.
Idiotic indeed. What about you?
Now, look here, Amanda.
Oh,
if
my
you think-
God!
Darling, I didn't mean it.
I won't move from here unless we have a compact. A sacred, sacred compact, never to quarrel again.
That's easy to make, difficult to keep.
No, it's the bickering that always starts it. The moment we notice we're bickering, either of us, we must promise on our honour to stop dead. We'll invent some phrase or catchword which, when either of us says it, automatically cuts off all conversation for at least 5 minutes.
2 minutes, dear, with an option of renewal.
Very well, what shall it be?
Solomon Isaacs.
All right, that'll do.
Come on.
What shall we do if we meet either of them on the way downstairs?
Run like stags.
What about clothes?
I've got a couple of bags I haven't unpacked yet.
I've got a small trunk.
Send the porter up for it.
This is terrible, terrible.
Come on, don't waste time.
Or we to leave notes or something?
No, we'll telegraph from somewhere on the road.
Oh, darling, I daren't. It's too wicked of us. I simply daren't.
Now will you behave?
Yes, but Elliot, darling...
Solomon Isaacs.
Mandy?
Ellie?
Good evening.
Good evening. I was looking for my husband.
Really? That's funny. I was looking for my wife.
Quite a coincidence.
It's nice here, isn't it?
Lovely.
Have you been here long?
No, we only arrived today.
Oh, really? Another coincidence. So did we.
How awfully funny.
Would you care for a cocktail?
Oh, no, thank you, really.
There are two here on the table.
Thanks very much. I'd love one.
Good. Here you are.
Thank you.
To absent friends.
To absent friends. It's awfully pretty, isn't it? The moonlight. And the lights of that yacht reflected in the water.
I wonder who it belongs to.
I'm glad we let Louise go. I'm afraid she's going to have a cold.
Going to have a cold? She's been grunting and snorting all the evening like a whole herd of bison.
Bison never sounds right to me. I have a feeling it ought to be bisons. A flock of bisons.
You might say a covey of bisons. Or even a school of bisons.
Oh, yes, lovely. The Royal London School of Bisons. Do you think Louise is happy at home?
No, profoundly miserable.
Family beastly to her.
Absolutely vile. Knock her about dreadfully, I expect. Make her eat the most disgusting food and pull her fringe.
Oh, poor Louise.
Well, you know what the French are.
Oh, yes, indeed. I know what the Hungarians are, too.
What are they?
Very wistful.
Ah.
All those pretzels, I shouldn't wonder. You ever crossed the Sahara on a camel?
Frequently. When I was a boy, we used to do it all the time. My grandmother had a lovely seat on a camel.
There's no doubt about it. Foreign travel's the thing.
Would you like some brandy?
Oh, just a little.
I'm glad we didn't go out tonight.
Or last night.
Or the night before.
There's no reason to, really, when we're cozy here.
Exactly.
It's nice, isn't it?
Strangely peaceful. Awfully bad reflection on our characters. We ought to be absolutely tortured with conscience.
Yeah. Every now and then.
Not nearly enough.
Well, we sent Victor and Sybil a nice note from wherever it was. What more can they want?
You're even more ruthless than I am.
I don't believe in crying over my bridge until I've eaten it.
They're sensible.
Personally, I feel grateful for a miraculous escape. I see now I should never have been happy with Victor. I was a fool ever to consider it.
You did a little more than consider it.
You can't talk.
I wonder whether they met each other, or whether they've been suffering alone.
Oh, dear. Please don't go on about it. It really does make one feel rather awful.
I suppose one or other or both of them will turn up here eventually.
Bound to. Won't be very nice, will it?
Perfectly horrible.
You realize we're living in sin?
Not according to the Catholics. Catholics don't recognize divorce.
Yes, dear, but we're not Catholics.
Never mind. It's nice to know they'd sort of back us up. We were married in the eyes of heaven, and we still are.
We may be all right in the eyes of heaven, but we look like being in the hell of a mess socially.
Who cares?
Are we going to marry again? After Victor and Sybil divorces?
I suppose so. What do you think?
I feel rather scared of marriage, really.
It is a frowsy business.
I think it was just the fact of our being married and clamped together publicly that wrecked us before.
That and not knowing how to manage each other.
I think we know how to manage each other now.
This week's been very successful. We've hardly used Solomon Isaacs at all.
Solomon Isaacs is so long. Let's shorten it to Sollox.
All right.
You really do look awfully sweet in your little dressing gown.
Yeah, it's pretty ravishing, isn't it?
Do you mind if I come over and kiss you?
A pleasure, Lady Agatha.
fools we were to subject ourselves to 5 years' unnecessary suffering.
No, perhaps it wasn't unnecessary. Perhaps it mellowed and perfected us like beautiful, ripe fruit.
When we were together, did you really think that I was unfaithful to you?
Yes, practically every day.
I thought you were, too. Often I used to torture myself with visions of your bouncing about on divans with awful widows.
Why widows?
I was thinking of Claire Lavenham, really.
Claire.
What did you say, oh, Claire, like that for? It sounded far too careless to me.
What a lovely creature she was.
Lovely? Lovely? Lovely?
Darling.
Did you have an affair with her? Afterwards, I mean.
Why do you want to know?
Curiosity, I suppose.
Dangerous.
No, not now. Not dangerous now. I wouldn't expect you to have been celibate during those 5 years. Any more than I was.
What?
Well, after all, Claire was undeniably attractive. A trifle over-vivacious, I always thought, but that was probably because she was fundamentally stupid.
What do you mean about not being celibate during those 5 years?
What do you think I mean?
Oh, God.
Don't be unreasonable. I was only trying to stamp out the memory of you. I expect your affairs well outnumbered mine, anyhow.
It doesn't suit women to be promiscuous.
It doesn't suit men for women to be promiscuous.
Very modern, dear. Really, your advanced views quite startle me.
Don't be cross, Elliot. I haven't been so dreadfully loose, actually. 5 years is a long time. Even if I did nip off with someone every now and then, they were none of them very serious.
Oh, do stop it, please.
Well, what about you?
Do you want me to tell you?
No, I don't. I take everything back. I don't.
I was madly in love with a woman in South Africa.
Did she have a ring through her nose?
Don't be revolting.
Oh, darling, we're tormenting one another. Sit down, sweet. I'm scared. You should have said Sollox ages ago.
We're in love, all right.
Don't say it so bitterly. Let's try to get the best out of it this time instead of the worst.
Hand, please.
There.
More comfortable.
Much more.
Are you engaged for this dance?
Funnily enough, I was, but my partner was suddenly taken ill.
It's this damned smallpox epidemic.
No. As a matter of fact, it was kidney trouble.
You'll dance it with me, I hope.
I should be charmed.
I love borax.
Is that the Grand Duchess Olga lying under the piano?
Yes, her husband died a few weeks ago, you know, on his way back from Pulborough. So sad.
What was he doing in Pulborough?
No one knows exactly, but there have been the usual stories.
I see.
Delightful parties Lady Bundle always gives, doesn't she?
Entrancing. Such a dear old lady.
And so gay. Did you notice her at supper blowing all those shrimps through her ear trumpet? What are you thinking about?
Nothing in particular.
Oh, come on, I know that face.
Poor Sybil.
Sybil?
I suppose she loves you terribly.
Well, not as much as all that. She didn't have a chance to get really underway.
I expect she's dreadfully unhappy.
Oh, shut up, Amanda. We've had all that out before.
Well, we've certainly been pretty busy trying to justify ourselves.
It's not a question of justifying ourselves. The true values of the situation that are really important. And the moment we saw one another again, we knew it was no use going on. We knew it immediately, really, although we tried to pretend to ourselves that we didn't. And what we've got to be thankful for is that we made the break straight away and not later.
You think we should have done it anyhow?
Of course, and things would have been in a worse mess than they are now.
And what if we'd never happened to meet again? Would you have been quite happy with Sybil?
I expect so.
Oh, Elliot.
Well, you needn't look so stricken. It would have been the same with you and Victor. Life would have been smooth and amicable and quite charming, wouldn't it?
Poor dear Victor. He certainly did love me.
Splendid.
When I met him, I was so lonely and depressed. I felt I was getting old and crumbling away unwanted.
It certainly is horrid when one begins to crumble.
Used to look at me so hopelessly, like a loveless spaniel. I sort of melted like snow in the sunlight.
That must have been an edifying spectacle.
Victor certainly had great charm.
You must tell me all about it.
He had a positive mania for protecting me and looking after me.
That would have died down in time, dear.
You mustn't be rude. There is no necessity to be rude.
I wasn't in the least rude. I merely made a perfectly rational statement.
Your voice was decidedly bitter.
Victor had glorious legs, hadn't he, and fascinating ears.
Don't be silly.
He probably looked radiant in the morning, all flushed and tumbled on the pillow.
I never saw him on the pillow.
I'm surprised to hear it.
Elliot!
Well, no need to be cross.
What did you mean by that?
I'm sick of listening to you yapping about Victor.
Now listen, Elliot, once...
Oh, my dear, Solix! But 2 minutes, Solix. That was a near thing.
I'm terribly sorry, darling. It was my fault.
I was very irritating. I know I was. I'm sure Victor was awfully nice. And you're perfectly right to be sweet about him.
That's downright handsome of you, sweetheart.
I think I love you more than ever before. Isn't it ridiculous? Put your feet up.
Comfortable.
Oh, that's just a minute.
How long, oh Lord, how long?
What do you mean, how long? Oh, Lord, how long?
This is far too perfect to last.
You have no faith. That's what's wrong with you.
Absolutely none.
Don't you believe in,
No, do you?
No. What about,
Oh, dear, no.
Don't you believe in anything?
Yes. I believe in being kind to everyone and giving money to old beggar women and being as gay as possible.
What about after we're dead?
I think a rather gloomy merging into everything, don't you?
Oh, I hope not. I'm a bad merger.
You won't know a thing about it.
I hope for a glorious oblivion, like being under gas.
I always dream the most peculiar things under gas.
Would you be young, always, if you could choose?
No, I don't think so. Not if it meant having awful old bull's glands popped into me.
Cows for you, dear, bulls for me.
It must be so nasty for the poor animals being experimented on.
Oh, not when the experiments are successful. Why, in Vienna, I believe you can see whole lines of decrepit old rats carrying on like tiller girls.
Very, very sweet.
Oh, darling, I love you so.
Don't blow, dear heart. It gives me the shivers.
Smooth your face, roundly.
Like that.
Very nice, thank you, kindly.
You really are terribly dear and sweet and attractive.
We were raving mad ever to part, even for an instant.
Utter imbeciles.
I realized it almost immediately, didn't you?
Long before we got our degree.
My heart broke on that damn trip round the world, darling. And I saw such beautiful things. Moonlight shining on old temples, strange barbaric dances in jungle villages, scarlet flamingos flying over deep, deep blue water. Breathlessly lovely and completely unexciting because you weren't there to see them with me.
Take me, please, take me at once. Let's make up for lost time.
Next week.
Tomorrow.
Done.
I must see those dear flamingos. 8 years, all told, we've loved each other. 3 married and 5 divorced.
Angel. 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 Angel.
No, no, Elliot, stop now, stop.
Why should I stop? You know you adore being made love to.
It's so soon after dinner.
You really do say most awful things.
I don't see anything particularly awful about that.
No sense of glamour, no sense of glamour at all.
It's a little difficult to feel really glamorous with a crick in one's neck.
Why didn't you say you had a crick in your neck?
It's gone now.
How convenient.
I want one, please. Light.
Wait a minute, can't you?
Chivalrous little love. Thank you very much indeed.
You really can be more irritating than anyone in the world.
I fail to see what I've done that's so terribly irritating.
You've no tact.
Tact? You've no consideration.
Too soon after dinner, indeed.
Yes, much too soon.
That sort of remark shows a rather common sort of mind, I'm afraid.
Oh, it does it?
Very unpleasant, makes me shudder.
Making all this fuss just because your silly vanity is a little upset.
Vanity? What do you mean, vanity?
You can't bear the thought that there are certain moments when our chemical what-you-call-ems don't fuse properly.
Chemical what-you-call-ems? Please try to be more explicit.
You know perfectly well what I mean, and don't you try to patronize me.
Now, look here, Amanda.
Oh, my darling, Solix. Oh, for God's sake, Solix.
But listen.
Solix, oh dear, triple Solix.
Moonlight behind you, true to the dream I am dreaming. As I draw near you, you'll smile a little smile. For a little while, we shall stand hand in hand. I'll leave you never, love you forever. All our past sorrow redeeming. Try to make it true. Say you love me too. Someday I'll find you again. Good God.
Do you think it's them?
Well, I don't know.
Nobody knows we're here except Frida, and she wouldn't ring up.
Well, it must be them, then.
What are we to do?
We're all right, darling, aren't we? I mean, whatever happened.
Now and always, sweet.
I don't care, then.
It's bound to come sooner or later.
Hello, hello? What? Come on. Oui, oui, c'est ça. Madame qui? Oh, Madame du Vallon. It's only somebody wanting to talk to the dear Madame du Vallon.
Who's she?
I haven't the faintest idea. Je regrette beaucoup, monsieur, mais Madame du Vallon vient de partir cet après-midi pour Madagascar. Oh, that was a near thing.
Sent shivers up my spine.
What should we do if they suddenly walk in on us?
Behave exquisitely.
With the most perfect poise.
Certainly. I should probably do a court curtsy.
Things that ought to matter dreadfully don't matter at all when one's happy, do they?
What's so horrible is that one can't stay happy.
Oh, darling, don't say that.
It's true. The whole business is a very poor joke.
Meaning that sacred and beautiful thing, love.
Yes, meaning just that.
What does it all mean? That's what I ask myself in my ceaseless quest for ultimate truth. Dear God, what does it all mean?
Don't laugh at me. I'm serious.
You mustn't be serious, my dear one. It's just what they want.
Who's they?
All the futile moralists who try to make life unbearable. Laugh at them. Be flippant. Laugh at all their sacred shibboleths. Flippancy brings out the acid in their damned sweetness and light.
If I laugh at everything, I must laugh at us, too.
Certainly you must. We're figures of fun, all right?
How long will it last? This ludicrous, overbearing love of ours.
Who knows?
Shall we always want to bicker and fight?
No. That desire will fade, along with our passion.
Oh, dear. Shall we like that?
It all depends on how well we've played.
Well, what happens if one of us dies? Does the one that's left still laugh?
Yes, yes, with all his might.
That's serious enough, isn't it?
No, no, it isn't. Death's very laughable. Such a cunning little mystery. All done with mirrors.
Darling, I think you're talking nonsense.
So is everyone else in the long run. Let's be superficial and pity the poor philosophers. Let's blow trumpets and squeakers and enjoy the party as much as we can, like very small, quite idiotic schoolchildren. Let's savor the delight of the moment. Come and kiss me, darling, before your body rots and worms pop in and out of your eye sockets.
Elliot, worms don't pop.
I don't mind what you do, see? You can paint yourself bright green all over and dance naked in the Place Vendôme and rush off madly with all the men in the world, and I shan't say a word as long as you love me best.
Thank you, dear. The same applies to you. Only if I catch you so much as looking at another woman, I'll kill you.
Do you remember that awful row we had in Venice?
Which particular one?
The one when you bought that little wooden painted snake on the piazza and put it on my bed.
Oh, Charles. That was his name, Charles. He did wriggle so beautifully.
Horrible thing. I hated it.
I know you did. You threw it out of the window into the Grand Canal. I don't think I shall ever forgive you for that.
How long did the row last?
Went on intermittently for days.
The worst one was in Cannes when your curling irons burned a hole in my new dressing gown.
We burnt my comb, too, and all the towels in the bathroom.
That was a rouser, wasn't it?
That was the first time you ever hit me.
I didn't hit you very hard.
The manager came in and found us rolling about on the floor, biting and scratching like panther.
Oh, I'll never forget his face.
How ridiculous. How utterly, utterly ridiculous.
We were very much younger then.
Very much sillier.
As a matter of fact, the real cause of that row was Peter Burton.
You knew there was nothing in that.
Well, I didn't know anything of the sort. You took presents from him.
Presents? Only a trivial little brooch.
Yeah, I remember it well, bristling with diamonds in the worst possible taste.
Not at all. It was very pretty. I still have it, and I wear it often.
You went out of your way to torture me over Peter Burton?
No, I didn't. You worked the whole thing up in your jealous imagination.
You know he was in love with you.
Just a little, perhaps. Nothing serious.
You let him kiss you. You said you did.
Oh, what of it?
What of it?
It gave him a lot of pleasure. It didn't hurt me.
What about me?
If you hadn't been so suspicious and nosy, you wouldn't have known a thing about it.
That's a nice point of view, I must say.
Oh, dear, I'm bored with this conversation.
So am I. Bored stiff. You want some brandy?
No, thanks.
I'll have a little, I think.
Let's see why you want it. You've already had 2 glasses.
No particular reason. Anyhow, they were very small ones.
So silly to go on and on and on with the thing.
You can hardly call 3 liqueur glasses in a whole evening going on and on and on.
It's become a habit with you.
You needn't be so grand just because you don't happen to want any yourself at the moment.
Don't be stupid.
Really, Amanda?
What?
Nothing. You going out somewhere, dear?
No, just making myself fascinating for you.
That reply has broken my heart.
Oh, it's the woman's job to allure the man. Watch me a minute, will you?
As a matter of fact, that's perfectly true.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Be quiet.
Pity you didn't have any more brandy. It might have made you a little less disagreeable.
Doesn't seem to have worked such wonders with you.
Snap, 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 like a little adder.
Adders don't snap. They sting.
Nonsense. They have a little bag of venom behind their fangs and they snap.
They sting.
They snap.
I don't care, do you understand? I don't care. I don't mind if they bark and roll about like hoops.
Did you see much of Peter Burton after our divorce?
Yes, I did. Quite a lot.
I suppose you let him kiss you a good deal more then.
Mind your own business.
You must have had a riotous time. No restraint at all. You never had much anyhow. Very enjoyable.
You're quite insufferable. I suppose it's because you're drunk.
I'm not in the least drunk.
You always had a weak head.
I think I've mentioned once before, I've only had 3 minute liqueur glasses of brandy the whole evening long. A child of 2 couldn't get drunk on that.
On the contrary, a child of 2 could get violently drunk on only 1 glass of brandy.
Now, how interesting. What about a child of 4 and a child of 6 and a child of 9?
Don't be stupid.
We might get up a splendid little debate about that, you know. Intemperate tots.
Not very funny, dear. Why don't you have some more brandy?
Very good idea, I will.
Ridiculous ass.
I beg your pardon?
I said ridiculous ass!
Thank you. You better turn that off. I think it's very late. It'll annoy the people upstairs.
There aren't any people upstairs. It's a photographer's studio.
There are people downstairs, I suppose.
They're away in Tunis.
This is no time of the year for Tunis.
Turn that on again, please.
I do no such thing.
Very well. If you insist on being so boorish and idiotic.
It's driving me mad.
You're far too temperamental. You must control yourself.
Turn it off!
I won't. Now look what you've done. You ruined the record.
Good job, too.
You disagreeable pig.
Amanda, darling, Solix.
Solix yourself!
You spiteful little beast!
Oh! Oh!
I'm sorry.
Oh!
I didn't mean it.
Oh!
I'm sorry, darling. I swear I didn't mean it.
I hate you.
Amanda, darling, listen.
Listen, indeed. I'm sick and tired of listening to you, you damn sadistic bully.
No! Thank you. Oh, a pretty display, I must say.
Stop laughing like
Very
that.
amusing indeed.
Stop! 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 I hate you, do you hear? I hate you. You're conceited and overbearing and utterly
You're a vile-tempered,
impossible.
evil-minded little vampire, and I hope I never see you again as long as I live.
This is the end, you understand? The end. Finally and forever.
You're not going like that.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, no, you're not.
I am. Let go of me. You're a cruel fiend, and I hate and loathe you. All I again realized in time what you're really
Shut
like.
up!
Marry you
Shut
again.
up!
Never, never,
I'll
never.
marry you again if you came crawling to me on your bended knees. You're an evil-minded little vampire. I hope I never see you again as long as you lived.
Swine! Beast! Oh! Oh! You're a cad!
c'est que ça, ces idiots? Ils ont tout fichu par terre pour que je casse le nez. Oh, ces espèces d'imbéciles. Oh là là, vraiment. Oh, ils savent bien que je suis pas bien, hein. Ça là, bordel partout. Atchou! Oh, et puis regardez-moi ce gâchis. Ah bah, si les patrons s'amusent à casser leur mobilier, bah moi, je m'en fiche, hein. C'est comme de ma première lignette. Alors là... Oh là là! Oh! Oh dear! Bonjour, madame! Bonjour. Oh, bonjour! Oh, qu'est-ce que vous faites ici? What? What? Wait a moment. Attendez un instant. Oh dear!
What? What's happening?
Oh, bonjour, monsieur.
Oh. Bonjour. What time is it?
Eh, monsieur? Quelle heure est-il, s'il vous plaît? Il est 9h moins 10, madame.
What did she say?
I think she said nearly 10 o'clock.
Oh. Voulez-vous... wake. Réveiller monsieur et madame, tout de suite.
I don't know, monsieur. Il m'est absolument défendu de les réveiller jusqu'à qu'il me sonne. Oh, les idiots. What are we to do?
Wake them ourselves.
No, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
I couldn't face them yet. Really, I couldn't. I feel dreadful.
So do I. It's a lovely morning.
Lovely.
I say, don't cry.
I can't help it.
Oh, please don't, please.
It's all so squalid. I wish we hadn't stayed. What's the use?
Well, we must see them before we go to England. We must get things straightened out.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. I wish I were dead.
Well, hush now, hush. Remember your promise. We're in this together, and we must get things settled one way or another.
I'll try to control myself. Only I'm so tired. I haven't slept properly for ages.
Neither have I.
If we hadn't arrived when we did, they'd have killed one another.
They must have been drunk.
She hit him.
Well, he hit her, too.
I'd no idea anybody ever behaved like that. It's so disgusting, so degrading. Ellie, of all people, oh, dear.
What an escape you've had.
What an escape we've both had.
Yeah. Good morning.
Oh, Amanda.
Will you please move this? I can't get out.
Where are you going?
Away.
You can't.
Why not?
I want to speak to you.
What on earth is the use of that?
I must speak to you.
Well, all I can say is it's very inconsiderate.
Mandy, I...
Fraser or Sybil, how do you do? Well, if you're going to take up that attitude, I fail to see the reason for your coming here at all.
I came to see Elliot.
I've no wish to prevent you. He's in there, probably wallowing in an alcoholic stupor.
Amanda, this is all very unpleasant.
I quite agree. That's why I want to go away.
That would be shirking. This must be discussed at length.
Very well, if you insist. Only not just at the moment. I don't feel up to it. Has Louise come yet?
If Louise is the maid, she's through there.
Oh, thank you. You'd probably like some coffee. Excuse me a minute.
Well, how dare she?
How dare she what?
To behave so calmly as though nothing had happened.
Well, I don't see what else she could have done.
Insufferable, I call it.
Oh, God.
Elliot! 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 Elliot!
Go away!
Pull yourself together, for heaven's sake.
I
Order some coffee and rolls. They'll be here soon. Must apologize for this room being so untidy.
Oh, do stop crying. It doesn't do any good.
Elliot, where are you going?
Canada.
You can't leave like this. You can't.
Well, I see no point in staying.
You owe it to Sybil to stay.
Oh, how do you do? I don't think we've met before.
You must stay. You've got to stay.
Oh, very well, if you insist. No, I'm afraid the room is in rather a mess. Have you seen the maid, Louise?
She's in the kitchen.
Good, I'll order some coffee.
No, you're... Amanda's already ordered it.
I'm glad the old girl's out and about.
Now, look here, we've got to get things straightened out, you
Yes,
know.
it's pretty awful. We'll get the concierge up from downstairs.
You're being purposely flippant, but it's no good.
Sorry.
What's to be done?
I don't know.
It's all perfectly horrible. I feel smirched and unclean, as though slimy things had been crawling all over me.
Well, maybe they have. That's a very old sofa.
If you don't stop your damn flippancy, I'll knock your head off.
Has it struck you that my flippancy might cover a very real embarrassment?
Well, in a situation such as this, it's in extremely bad taste.
No worse than bluster and invective. As far as I know, this situation is entirely without precedent. We have no prescribed etiquette to fall back upon. I shall continue to be flippant.
Oh, Elliot, how can you? How can you?
I'm awfully sorry, sir.
It's easy enough to be sorry.
On the contrary, I find it exceedingly difficult. I seldom regret anything. This is a very rare and notable exception. Sort of red letter day when us all make the most of it.
I'll never forgive you, never. I wouldn't have believed anybody could be so callous and cruel.
I absolutely see your point. As I said before, I'm sorry.
Now, look here,
Absolutely
Chase.
impossible to-
What?
Breakfast not ready yet. Really, these French servants are too slow for words. What a glorious morning. I do love Paris. It's so genuinely gay. All those lovely trees and the Champs-Élysées. Those little roundabouts for the children to play on and those shiny red taxis. You can see Sacré-Cœur quite clearly today. Sometimes it's a bit misty. Particularly in August. All the heat rising up from the pavements, you know.
Yes, dear, we know.
And it's heavenly being so high up. I found this flat 3 years ago, quite by merest chance. I happened to be staying at the Plaza Athénée, just down the road.
Such a nice hotel with the most enchanting courtyard with a fountain that goes plop, 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 plop.
Amanda, this is ridiculous.
Plop, 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 plop,
Now,
plop,
Victor,
plop, plop.
I refuse to discuss anything in the least important until after breakfast.
Plop.
I couldn't concentrate now. I know I couldn't.
What manner, what poise. How I envy it. To be able to carry off the most embarrassing situation with such tact and delicacy, and above all, such subtlety. Do go on, Amanda. You're making everything so much easier. We shall all be playing Hunt the Slipper in a minute.
Please don't address me. I don't wish to speak to you.
Splendid.
And what is more, I never shall again as long as I live.
I shall endeavour to rise above it.
I have been brought up to believe that it is beyond the pale for a man to strike a woman.
A very poor tradition. Certain women should be struck regularly, like gongs.
You're an unmitigated cad and a bully.
And you're an ill-mannered, bad-tempered slattern.
Slattern, indeed.
Yes, slattern, slattern, slattern. And fishwife.
Keep your mouth shut, you swine!
Mind your own damn business.
Stop! Stop! It's no use going on like this. Stop, please. Help me. Do help me.
I'm not going to interfere. Let them fight if they want to. It'll probably clear the air anyhow.
Yes, but...
Come into my room. Perhaps you'd like to wash or something.
No, but...
Come along.
Very well.
Now then,
Now then what?
are you going to take back those things that you said to Amanda?
Well, certainly, I'll take back anything, if only you'll stop bellowing at me.
You're a coward, too.
They want us to fight, don't you see?
No, I don't. Why should they?
Primitive feminine instincts. Warring males. Very enjoyable.
You think you're very clever, don't you?
I think I'm a bit cleverer than you, but apparently that's not saying much.
What?
Oh, do sit down.
I will not.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I will. I feel extremely tired.
Oh, for God's sake, behave like a man.
You listen a moment. All this belligerency is very right and proper and highly traditional. But if only you'll think for a moment, you'll see it won't get us very far.
To hell with all that.
I should like to explain that if you hit me, I shall probably hit you equally as hard, if not harder. I'm just as strong as you, I should imagine. Then you'd hit me again, and I'd hit you again, and we'd go on until one or the other was knocked out. Now, if you'll explain to me satisfactorily how all that can possibly improve the situation, I'll tear off my coat and we'll go at one another hammer and tongs immediately.
It would ease my mind.
Only if you won.
I should win, all right.
Do you want to try?
Yes.
All right, here goes.
Just a minute.
Well,
What did you mean about them wanting us to fight?
it would be bound to their vanity.
Do you love Amanda?
Is this a battle or a discussion? If it's the latter, I shall put on my coat again. I don't wish to catch chill.
Answer my question, please.
Have a cigarette?
Answer my question.
If you analyze it, it's rather a silly question.
Do you love Amanda?
Not very much this morning. As a matter of fact, I'd like to wring her neck. Do you love her?
That's beside the point.
On the contrary, it's the crux of the whole business. If you do love her still, you can forgive her and live with her in peace and harmony until you're 98.
You're apparently an even bigger cad than I thought you were.
You are completely in the right over the whole business. Don't imagine I'm not perfectly conscious of that.
I'm glad.
It's all very unfortunate.
Unfortunate, my God.
It might have been worse.
I'm glad you think so.
I do wish you'd stop being so glad about everything.
What do you intend to do? That's what I want to know. What do you intend to do?
I don't know. I don't care.
I suppose you realize that you've broken that poor little woman's heart.
Which poor little woman?
Sybil, of course.
Oh, come now, not as bad as that. She'll get over it, forget all about me.
I sincerely hope so, for her sake.
Amanda will forget all about me, too. Everybody will forget all about me. I might just as well lie down and die in fearful pain and suffering. Nobody would care.
Don't talk such rot.
You must forgive me for taking rather a gloomy view of everything, but the fact is I suddenly feel slightly depressed.
I intend to divorce Amanda, citing you as co-respondent.
Very well.
And Sybil will divorce you for Amanda. It would be foolish of either of you to attempt any defense.
Quite.
And the sooner you marry Amanda again, the better.
I'm not going to marry Amanda.
What?
Bad-tempered, wicked woman.
Well, you should have thought of that before.
I did think of it before.
You've got to marry her.
I'd rather marry a ravening leopard.
Now, look here, I'm sick of all this shilly-shallying. You're getting off a good deal more likely than you deserve. And you want to think yourself damn lucky that I didn't shoot you.
Well, if you had a spark of manliness in you, you would have shot me. You're all fuss and fume. One of those cotton-wool Englishmen. I despise you.
You despise me?
Yes, utterly. You're nothing but a rampaging gas bag.
Well, what's happened?
Nothing's happened.
You'd be ashamed to admit it.
Where's Elliot?
In there.
What's he doing?
How should I know what he's doing?
If you were half the man I thought you were, he'd be bandaging himself.
Elliot's just as strong as Victor.
I should like it proved.
There's no need to be so vindictive.
You were abusing Elliot like a pickpocket to me a little while ago. Now you're standing up for him.
I'm beginning to suspect that he wasn't quite so much to blame as I thought.
Oh, really?
You certainly have a very unpleasant temper.
It's a little difficult to keep up with your rapid changes of front. But you're young and inexperienced, so I forgive you freely.
Seeing the depths of degradation to which age and experience have brought you, I'm glad I'm as I am.
That was exceedingly rude. I think you'd better go away somewhere.
After all, Elliot is my husband.
Take him with you by all means.
If you're not very careful, I will. Elliot? Elliot?
What is it?
Let me in. Please, please let me in. I want to speak to you.
Heaven preserve me from nice women.
Your own reputation ought to do that.
Oh, go to hell. Victor?
What? Where does it go?
Over there. Thank you, Victor.
Don't mention it.
What did you say to Elliot?
I told him that he was beneath contempt.
Good.
I think you must be mad, Amanda.
I've often thought that myself.
I feel completely lost, completely bewildered.
I don't blame you. I don't feel any too cozy.
Had you been drinking last night?
Certainly not.
Had Elliot been drinking?
Yes, gallons.
Used to drink before, when you were married to him?
Yes, terribly. Night after night, he'd come home roaring and hiccuping.
Disgusting.
Yes, wasn't it?
Did he really strike you last night?
Repeatedly. I'm bruised beyond recognition.
Amanda.
Oh, Victor. I'm most awfully sorry to have given you so much trouble, really I am. Something strange happened to me. I can't explain it. There's no excuse, but I am ashamed of having made you unhappy.
I can't understand it at all. I've tried to, but I can't. It all seems so unlike you.
Oh, it isn't really unlike me, that's the trouble. I ought never to have married you. I'm a bad lot.
Amanda.
Don't contradict me. I know I'm a bad lot.
I wasn't going to contradict you.
Victor!
You appalled me, absolutely.
Go on. Go on. I deserve it.
I didn't come here to accuse you. There's no sense in that.
What did you come here for, then?
To ask you what you want me to do.
Divorce me, I suppose, as soon as possible. I won't make any difficulties. I'll go away, far away. Morocco or Tunis or somewhere. I should probably catch some dreadful disease out there and die all alone. Oh, dear.
It's no use pitying yourself.
Well, I seem to be the only one that does. I might just as well enjoy it. I'm thoroughly unprincipled. Sybil was right.
Sybil's an ass.
She is rather, isn't she? I can't think why Elliot ever married her.
Do you love him?
Seems so insipid somehow.
Do you love him?
Oh, she's very pretty in a rather shallow sort of way.
Amanda.
What?
You haven't answered my question.
I've forgotten what it was.
Oh, you're hopeless. Hopeless.
Don't be angry. This is far too serious to be angry about.
You're talking nonsense.
No, I'm not. I mean it. It's ridiculous for us all to stand around arguing with one another. You'd much better go back to England and let your lawyers deal with the whole thing.
And what about you?
Oh, I should be all right.
I only want to know one thing, and you won't tell me.
What is it?
Do you love Chase?
No, I hate him. When I met him again suddenly at Touquet, it was an odd sort of shock. He attracted me. He always has attracted me. It's only the worst part of me. I see that now.
I can't understand why he's so terribly trivial and superficial.
Well, that sort of attraction can't be explained. It's sort of chemical, what you call it.
Yes, it must be.
I don't expect you to understand. I'm not going to try to excuse myself in any way. Elliot was the first love affair of my life. In spite of all the suffering he caused me before, there must have been a little spark left smouldering, which burst into flame when I came face to face with him again. I completely lost grip and behaved like a fool. For which I shall pay all right. You needn't worry about that. But perhaps one day, when all this is dead and done with, you and I might meet and be friends. That's something to hope for, anyhow. Goodbye, Victor, dear.
Do you want to marry him?
I'd rather marry a boa constrictor.
Well, I can't leave you with a man who drinks and knocks you about.
You needn't worry about leaving me as though I was sort of parcel. I can look after myself.
But you said just now that you were going to Tunis to die.
I changed my mind. The wrong time of the year for Tunis. So you're somewhere quite different. I believe Brioni is very nice in the summer.
Will you be serious for one moment?
I told you, it's no use.
If it'll make things easier for you, I won't divorce you.
Victor.
We can live apart until Sybil gets a decree against Chase, and then sometime after that, I'll let you divorce me.
I see you're determined to make me serious, whether I like it or not.
I married you because I loved you.
Stop it, Victor, stop it. I won't listen.
I expect I love you still. One doesn't change all in a minute. You never loved me. I see that now. So perhaps, after all, everything's turned out for the best.
Thought I loved you. Honestly, I did.
Yes, I know. That's all right.
What an escape you've had.
Yes, I've told myself that often during the last few days.
There's no need to rub it in.
Do you agree about the divorce business?
Yes, it's very, very generous of you.
Perhaps Sybil will change her mind about divorcing Chase.
Perhaps. She certainly went into the bedroom with a predatory look in her eye.
Would you be pleased if that happened?
Delighted.
Elliot and I have come to a decision.
How very nice.
What is it?
Don't be silly, Victor. Look at their faces.
Feminine intuition, very difficult.
Feminine determination, very praiseworthy.
I'm not going to divorce Elliot for a year.
I congratulate you.
Sybil has behaved like an angel.
Well, it was certainly her big moment.
Ah, il faut le mettre sur la table.
Ah oui, monsieur.
It all seems very amicable.
It is, thank you.
I don't wish to depress you, but Victor isn't going to divorce me either.
What?
I think I asked you once before this morning never to talk to me again.
I hadn't said what. It was a general exclamation denoting extreme satisfaction.
Excusez-moi, madame. C'est vraiment pas de ma faute. Bah, si madame n'avait pas laissé son piano ouvert, je me serais pas cognée dedans. Je vous demande pardon, monsieur, c'est vraiment pas de ma faute. Hein. Bah, et puis, vous vous mettez haut à table, vous buvez votre café, vous me fichez la paix, hein.
Oh, do sit down, won't you?
No, I'm afraid I must be going now. I'm catching the Golden Arrow. It leaves at 12.
We'll have time for a little coffee, surely.
No, I really must go now.
I haven't seen you again for so long.
Oh, living apart. How wise.
Please, Sybil, do stay.
Oh, very well. Just for a little.
Sit down, Victor, darling. Half and half?
Yes, please.
What would one do without one's morning coffee? That's what I always ask myself.
Is it? What do you always answer?
Victor? Sugar for Sybil? It would be absurd of me to call you anything but Sybil, wouldn't it?
Of course. I shall call you Mandy.
Oh, God, we're off again. What weather?
Thank you.
What time is it?
Oh, that clock's still going after last night. 10:15.
Here, Victor, dear.
Thanks.
Sybil? Sugar for Victor?
I should like some coffee, please.
Brioche?
What?
Would you like a brioche?
No, thank you.
I would. And some butter and some jam.
Have you ever been to Brioni?
No, it's in the Adriatic, isn't it?
The Baltic, I think.
I made sure it was in the Adriatic.
I had an aunt who went there once.
I once had an aunt who went to Tasmania.
It's funny how fashionable the south of France has become in the summer.
Yes,
don't you think?
awfully funny.
I've been laughing about it for months.
Personally, I think it's a bit too hot, although, of course, one can lie in the water all day.
Yes, the bathing is really divine.
A friend of mine has a house right on the edge of Cap Ferrat.
Really?
Yes, right on the edge.
that must be marvellous.
Yes, he seems to like it very much.
You must tell us about some more of your friends.
Now, look here,
I think I like travelling more than anything else in the world. It always gives me such a tremendous feeling of adventure. First of all, the excitement of packing and getting one's passport visas and everything, and then the thrill of actually starting and trundling along trains and ships, and then the most thrilling thing of all, arriving at strange places and meeting strange people and eating strange foods.
Making strange noises afterwards.
That was a damn fool thing to do.
How did I know she was going to show?
Here, drink some coffee.
Oh, leave me alone. I'll be all right in a minute.
You waste too much time trying to be funny.
It's no use talking to Elliot like that. It wasn't his fault.
Well, of course it was his fault. Making stupid, rotten jokes.
I thought what Elliot said was funny.
Well, all I can think is that you must have a very warped sense of humour.
That's better than having none at all.
Well, I fail to see what humour there is in incessant, trivial flippancy.
You couldn't be flippant if you tried until you were blue in the face.
I shouldn't dream of trying.
It must be awfully sad not to be able to see any fun in anything.
Fun? I should like you to tell me what fun there
I
is.
pity you. I do, really. I've been pitying you ever since we left Le Touquet.
Well, it's very kind of you, I'm sure, but quite unnecessary.
And I pity you more than ever now.
Why now, particularly?
If you don't see why, I'm certainly not going to tell you.
I really don't see why you ought to try and pick a quarrel with me. I've done my best to be pleasant to you, to comfort you.
You weren't very comforting when I lost my trunk.
I have very little patience with people who go around losing luggage.
I don't go about losing luggage. It's the first time I've lost anything in my life.
Well, I find that difficult to believe.
Anyway, if you'd tipped the porter enough, everything would have been all right. Small economies never pay. There's absolutely no use in...
Oh, for God's sake, be quiet!
How dare you speak to me like that?
Because you've been irritating me for days.
Oh!
You're one of the most completely idiotic women that I've ever met in my life.
And you're certainly the rudest man that I've ever met.
Oh, all right, then we're quits, aren't we?
For one thing, you'll get your desserts all right.
What exactly do you mean by that?
You know perfectly well what I mean, and it'll serve you right for being weak-minded enough to allow that woman to get round you so easily.
Oh, and what about you, letting that unprincipled roué persuade you to take him back?
He's nothing of the sort. He's just been victimised, the way you were victimised.
Victimised? What damned nonsense.
It isn't damned nonsense. Oh, you're very fond of swearing and blustering and threatening, but when it comes to the point, you're as weak as water. Why, a blind cat could see what you've let yourself in for. When I think of the things you said about her, it makes me laugh. It does, really, to see how completely she's got you again.
Well, you can obviously speak with great authority, having had the intelligence to marry a drunkard.
So that's what she's been telling you. I might have known it. I suppose she omitted to tell you that she drank 14 glasses of brandy last night straight off, and that the reason their first marriage was broken up was because she came home at all hours of the night screaming and hiccuping.
If he told you that, he's a filthy liar.
He isn't, he isn't!
And if you believe it, you're a silly, scatterbrained little fool.
How dare you speak to me like that? I've never been so insulted in my life. How dare you?
It's a tremendous relief for me to have an excuse to insult you. I've had to listen to your weeping and wailing for days. You clacked at me and snivelled at me until you've nearly driven me insane. I always knew that you were stupid from the first, but I had no idea that you were a malicious little vixen as well.
Stop it! Stop it, you insufferable great brute! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!